If you talk to some of the industry's leading experts on analytics, like Forrester, the analyst house, they tell tale after tale after tale of people spending £500,000 on ways of measuring what happens on their website, and then having one of the most junior members of the marketing or the technical team interpreting it and building a big report and filing it nowhere, and everybody having a bit of a look at the visitor rate over time. There's so much information out there, and there's so much information that can be interpreted, brought in, filtered, and I'll talk a bit about how you might do that in a moment. So if you can't measure it, don't do it. Really, really kind of shocking message when you come from a PR background where you couldn't really measure anything at all, apart from, column inches, mentions in the press, and it was very measurement light. There's a lot of faith involved in brand management, reputation management, that kind of thing. But if you can't measure it, don't do it. I think one of the things that Google's very, very famous for, and I think people sneer a little bit about, but actually when you get close up to and look at it, it kind of makes sense, is this idea of 20% time. This idea of 1 day a week that you can spend on any project you like in terms of developing it. And that's not just a kind of a nice bonus for people to come to work for Google. That's absolutely key to their innovation strategy, because they say that the more that you've got people in a job role and the more people you've got people in a silo, the less chance there is of them doing anything really interesting and innovating outside of that. And so this 20% time, this building in Slack into the way that you work, is absolutely crucial, I think, in order to innovate. Because I think if we're looking at this massive complexity and this vast rapid pace of change, then the best strategy is to, do your core business really, really well, but then build in enough space and enough time so that when you see the opportunities or when the opportunities present themselves, you can move on them. But if you've got everybody up to their max on billable hours doing their core work, or up to their, however you're going to measure it, on doing just their core activity, they're never going to have time to innovate. It's never going to happen. And the numbers up there are kind of were shared with me by someone from not Google, but an extremely innovative company that actually puts a lot of time and a lot of measurement, again, into the innovations process. Every time anyone has an idea, it is recorded at the outset, and they get through about 4,000 ideas a year, and that's how many ideas they have. About 300 of those get discussed seriously, a little bit of meeting time on those, a little bit of brainstorming. About 30 go into a rapid prototyping stage, where they're actually putting developer resources or design resources into doing things, and 2 of those go to market and go to production. And I think that's just struck me as like the economics of innovation. Yeah, we kind of like, I think especially in communications and marketing industries, we get a bit impressed with ourselves when we have a creative idea, and we think, that's it, we've had a creative idea, let's go and implement this. But if you look at the people who take innovation most seriously, 1 or 2 good ideas is not enough. They want thousands, and they want to, as Google says, kill some good ideas. Because only if they're killing some good ideas because they need to focus on the best ideas, then they've got more chance of actually innovating and getting to market. Anyway. I was talking to someone at Isle about this just before the conference began, about the old bugbear of English business culture, failure, that we're really, 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 really bad about talking about. I can't even say it. The opposite of success. We're really, really bad at failure. At Google, they've got a very simple attitude to failure. Is you need to fail in order to learn. It's best not to fail the same way twice. Not because that means you're bad. It means that we haven't learned anything the second time because we learned it all the first time. Again, failures there and in innovation-rich companies are recorded and discussed in the same way as ideas, because failure is where you learn the most. So I think failures is one of the things that's very, very important in innovation. So I wanted to share some of the stuff that we'd learned at iCrossing about innovation. We're learning all the time. I think this is Jim Byford. He's our head of innovation at iCrossing, and I didn't just put up his picture because I like him a lot, although I do. I put up his picture because I think one of the most intelligent things that we've done at iCrossing, without really realising it, innovation is often done in that way, is to take it seriously enough to appoint someone to look after that part of the company, to say this is important enough to us that he does other things as well. He's a client partner as well. We kind of think that's a really good idea because he couldn't be innovating off in a lab somewhere. He's got to be innovating with clients. And the way that we've created most of the innovative services and technologies at iCrossing that we've done so far have been working alongside lead clients who are prepared to be experimental, prepared to try things out. So you need to commit to innovation to the extent that it's part of someone's job. I think one of the other things that we've learned, a really good quote, I think it's from someone at Toyota actually, that said, no, he's probably quoting someone else, but anyway, is that in order to make a breakthrough, you have to have something to break. It's that accepting that actually innovation is often painful within an organisation because it upsets the status quo. But if you're prepared to go through that, then it's very, very healthy. It's healthy for the ideas to be challenged, and it's also healthy because you're innovating and someone else in the market isn't innovating you out of business. This is just a heads up, a warning. This is the worst slide in the deck. I've just got Keynote on my Mac, and it shows. Look, here we go. It's bubbles. Combining disciplines really, really works. iCrossing started off with search, and we added social and brand into the mix there. What we discovered was a whole load of new ideas about how each one worked. We discovered that ideas about PR were kind of the human or the brand side of the technical things that were talked about in search, and that worked really, really well, and that social was social media fitted in really well with those ideas about brand communications and search. And we built these mapping tools and all sorts of other crazy technologies very, very quickly. And then we found that friends in the advertising section of the company that started up were able to use those to plan their campaigns more effectively and gain a new look at the world. We hired and built a department around user experience that started taking the same ideas and applying those to user experience, and then also taught us about things like customer journeys that were very helpful. In web development, again, it's just we've continued to add on new disciplines and make them sit next to each other and work hard at talking about how those disciplines interact. I think one of the other things that we've learned is that there's a big strategic gap within organisations when it comes to social media, and that gap needs to be filled by innovative thinking and innovative approaches and innovative whatevers. Is that once you start talking about social within an organisation, we often start with the e-commerce or the marketing people in terms of our conversation, but very, very quickly you realise that everyone else has to be involved. Because, if people are complaining on a blog, is that a PR issue or is that a customer service issue? Well, it could be either, or it could be a new function. If people have got ideas and you want to start a community up like Starbucks, is that a marketing thing or is that a product development thing? It kind of touches on all of them. So social touches so many parts within the organisation that you need to innovate, again, about how you develop a strategy in the middle.